Coming up, mixed reality, taking the virtual world one step further. Here at Daily Planet, we are so up to date, we're deep into the future. This next story is about technology that likely won't be on the market for another 5 years. As you see, it mixes reality with the virtual world.
Chris Stapleton is a man who really gets into his job.
I am talking to the dolphin through my interface here, which I can tell it to hit. I go right, go left, or if a shark comes by, I can shock it. Like there's a shark, I'm going to shock it. Scare it away because, whoops, I'm getting the dolphins. Go away, shark. Nope. And then I can grab my dolphin and tell it to turn right. It's going to turn right. And then it can turn left towards me, and it's coming towards me. Whoa! So it's going all the way around us. And I can make it go straight to the thing, and I say, okay, hit that ball into that target. Boom! Score! All right.
Stapleton is project director of the Media Convergence Laboratory at the University of Central Florida. He's testing a new technology that melds physical reality with the virtual world. It's called mixed reality. It isn't restrained by the rules of a video game or the limitations of real life. Mixed reality allows the imagination to run free.
What we're trying to do with the interactive media is be able to rely more on the imagination of the user, bringing their experience to the virtual experience and really create the magic inside their head.
Coordinating the technology to spark that imagination is the job of Charles Hughes, a 40-year veteran of computer science.
To have a mixed reality experience, there needs to be some means to capture what's in the real world and some means to display visually for you not just the real world but also the augmentation of it with virtual objects. This device, which is built into the Canon head-mounted display, sends out magnetic signals that are picked up by a receiver. Magnetic technology can be used to determine both position and orientation. How am I bent over? Whereas acoustical only can pick up position. So in fact, there is also a gyroscopic type device embedded in here, what's called an inertial device that determines what my orientation is. And that's important because that determines what I should perceive within this mixed reality environment. Once we determine what the orientation of the person is and what the position is, what we need to do is to add to what they're perceiving, not just the real world, but all of the synthetic images. And that process is the process of registration. So what we have to do is determine the depth of all of the physical objects relative to the virtual objects and sort them. That goes on inside those dual computers that are doing all this computation. One of the big challenges in the science of mixed reality is how do you handle the rendering of an object when lighting in the room changes, because the physical objects in there will look different as soon as I turn off the lights. Or like you guys in the camera crew put on these wonderful lights that you use for filming, that alters reality. Virtuality must be altered at the same time, so the virtual objects have to be rendered differently. It's actually software that runs a story. And that's the only part of the environment, all of the computers that are running this thing, that understands the semantics of the world, the meaning of actions. And what it needs to do is to communicate to the graphics engine what is to be displayed, and to audio engines that are placed around the room what sound bites they're supposed to play.
That means when you shoot out a light, the audio engine must incorporate the sound, and the graphics engine must change the light accordingly. The software can perform other special effects like generating smoke and wind, or cause a real can to jump into the air when fired at.
The question is, can there be behaviors that are unpredictable, that sort of evolve in the environment based upon how you interact with it in ways that the person who wrote the software can't even predict? Well, some of that clearly occurs because you are in the real world. You can alter that real world.
The US military is already experimenting with the technology to create something called Mr. Moot, or mixed reality for military operations in urban terrain. A spokesman says mixed reality avoids the need for multi-million-dollar simulators and can reduce the impact of military training on the environment.
We know the future soldier is going to have some type of wearable computer system on himself, as well as some type of helmet-mounted display. And we feel that we can actually embed a training application or a mixed reality, augmented reality type application on the soldier's equipment itself, so that when he has time to do training, for instance, en route to a mission area, during some free time during a mission area, he can actually flip the switch and go into training mode, and then the augmented reality portion of it would be available to him, so he can do training right there, anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
For Eileen Smith, a 17-year veteran of the science centre industry, mixed reality brings new possibilities for informal learning. Possibilities that greatly complement the static, untouchable displays often found in museums and galleries.
Say, this is a pristine aquatic environment, and into that gets introduced pollution elements or predatory fish or invasive plants, and I can go ahead 50 years, 70 years and see what the actions that were done today, how they affect the future. And that's really something that's very important for general public as well as students to know.
Stapleton is also working with television companies so children can interact with cartoons.
For kids, cartoons are real, so the concept of mixed reality is not a far stretch of the imagination. One of the things that we've been approached by children's programming for television is to be able to get their favorite cartoon characters involved with live television so they can do a game show or ask them their favorite questions about, who's their best friend, what's their favorite color.
But with all the potential of mixed reality for military exercises and education, the bottom line is it's fun, and not just for kids.
That's awesome. Oh, he just came at me.
Wait.
I've never held a real gun in my life, and I never have intention to.
The Florida team is already hard at work creating more complex mixed reality worlds, worlds such as virtual forests for biologists or virtual cities for architects and city planners. But as far as talking to dolphins or shooting terrorists in an urban jungle, get ready to rumble, because the home console version could be a reality by 2008.